Many years ago, in a certain city, there lived a wealthy man named Francis. Mr. Francis sat alone in his grand mansion, staring out the window. The house was quiet, too quiet. Once it has been filled with laughter, the voice of his wife and children echoing in the house. But that was a long time ago. A terrible accident has taken them away, leaving him with nothing but memories. For years he mourned, refusing to move on. But just as he decided to start a new chapter in his life, fate struck him once more. One evening, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. His servant rushed him to the hospital where the doctor delivered the news that shattered his world. "Mr. Francis," he said, "you have leukemia. I'm sorry, but you only have 10 months to live." 10 months? That was all he had left. What was he supposed to do with his life now, with all his wealth? His servant noticed the change in him. He became moody and withdrawn. They asked if there is something wrong, but he simply forced a smile. "I'm fine," he lied, but deep inside he felt empty. He had always been a good man, kind and generous. Yet, despite all his wealth, he felt lonelier than ever. His only company was the noise from his neighbor, the widow, her university-going daughter called Blessing, and the old mother-in-law who argued every day. The old woman blamed her daughter-in-law for her son's death. "You killed my son, and you never gave him a mere child," she would shout. The fights grew worse, echoing through the neighborhood. Mr. Francis sighed. The quarrel only added to his worry. One day, he told his doctor, "I am tired. I'm tired of everything. The noise, the loneliness, even life itself." The doctor listened carefully and then smiled. "Let me tell you a story," he said. He spoke of a disabled girl who played strange instruments. One fateful day, during her performance, 3 strings broke, leaving her with only one. Everyone thought she would stop, but she didn't. She picked up the instrument and played dramatically with that one string. Her performance was extraordinary, beyond everyone's expectation. The audience gasped in awe and applauded endlessly. She used what was left of her to make a difference, the doctor said. "And so you can, Mr. Francis." The story touched him deeply. He decided it was time to step out of his sorrow and do something meaningful. Meanwhile, on campus, Blessing's classmates mocked her. "Hey, Blessing, you are wearing that again?" A voice sneered as Blessing walked through the campus corridor. You could almost hear the giggles behind the whisper. Blessing paused, feeling a familiar pang in her heart. I like it this way," she murmured softly, trying to brush off the hurt. As she rounded the corner, another classmate remarked, "Really, Blessing, your clothes are so old-fashioned. What's up with that mood of yours?" Blessing's eyes dropped, and she wished she could disappear. But then a warm, firm voice interrupted. "That's enough." It was Ikem, stepping right in with a smile that mixed kindness and quiet strength. "Hey, why don't you leave her alone? Blessing is amazing just the way she is," he said, looking directly at the group. One of the classmates coughed. "Oh, really? And what makes you her defender?" Ikem scrubbed lightly and replied, "Maybe because I see what others fail to see, a kind heart and a real beauty. Besides, isn't it fun to see how brave someone can be when they know someone has their back. Blessing felt a flutter in her heart at his word, and though she was shy, she managed a small smile. Later that day, while walking together to class, Ikem nudged Blessing playfully. Don't mind them. You know, I sometimes wonder why they're so busy trying to tear others down. Blessing sighed. I just wish I could shake off this feeling. Their words get in my head. I get it, Ikem said gently. Over time, the whisper and mockery lessened. Every time a cruel word was thrown at her way, Ikem was there, offering a reassuring smile and a firm word of defense. In quiet moments, they would sit together on campus step, talking about dreams, fears, and little victories. Ikem, I sometimes wonder if I would ever truly fit in, Blessing admitted one afternoon. Her voice softened. He looked at her with genuine care. You don't need to change to fit in. The people who matter will love you for you. And as for those who mock, you are just too special for them to understand. Their conversations were like little breeze that clear away the storm of harsh words. With Ikem of waving support, Blossom began to see herself differently. She learned that true beauty wasn't about fitting a trend or pleasing others. It was about embracing who she truly was. And so, in every word and every little act of defense, Ikem helped Blessing realize that even when the world seemed unkind, one caring heart can make all the difference. The next morning, Mr. Francis visited his neighbor. At first, they were surprised. The rich man had never spoken to them, but when he asked about their fight, the widow burst into tears. It's my mother-in-law, she said. She blamed me for her son's death. She called me a witch, but I did nothing wrong. The old woman folded her arms. My son is gone and I have no grandson. What else am I supposed to do? Mr. Francis sighed. It's okay, ma. Holding on to anger won't bring him back, but forgiveness might bring peace. The two women looked at each other but said nothing. Before he left, he gave each of the women 100,000 and urged them to live in peace. For days, he visited them, talking, listening, and guiding. Slowly, the tension ceased. The widow and her mother-in-law began to understand each other. One evening, he sat together, sharing a meal. With Mr. Francis' smile, the house was peaceful for the first time. His heart felt lighter. To help them start a new life, he set up a business for them. The widow's mother-in-law, now filled with guilt, apologized. I was wrong, she said. You are not a wish, you are family. Tears flowed, and for the first time in years, they hugged. Meanwhile, the widow's daughter, Blessing, remained moody. She had grown up in an environment of shouting and accusation. She barely had a friend, except for one boy, Ikem. He never felt her side, no matter how distant she became. You need to change, Ikem told her one day. You are beautiful, Blessing, but you hide it under sadness. Blessing looked away. What's the point? No one cares. I care, Ikem said softly. However, Mr. Francis saw potential in Blessing. With his help, she was transformed. He introduced her to fashion, trained her, and within months, she became a rising model. Suddenly, the girl who had once been ignored was admired by many. On campus, Blessing became the talk of her classmates. Those who had once mocked her now wanted to be her friend. But she didn't care about them. Only one person truly matters to her, Mr. Francis. She had fallen in love with him. One day, she confessed, "I love you, Mr. Francis." But he gently shook his head. "You are young, Blessing. I am like a father to you." Instead, he asked her, "Do you have a boyfriend?" She hesitated. "There is Ikem, but we are just friends with no strings attached." "Does he love you?" "Yes, but I don't feel the same way." Secretly, Mr. Francis called Ikem for discussion. "Do you love Blessing?" he asked. "With all my heart," Ikem replied. "Once I make money, I will ask her to marry me." Mr. Francis smiled. He empowered Ikem financially and gave him his blessing. Then he told Ikem his secret. "I am dying, Ikem. I want to see Blessing happy before I go. Marry her." Ikem did as he instructed. The wedding was beautiful. Blessing had never been happier. But just as the ceremony was about ending, the unthinkable happened. Mr. Francis collapsed. The hall was filled with music. The hall that once filled with music and laughter turned eagerly silent. Gasps filled the air as guests rushed to his side. "Somebody call an ambulance!" Ikem shouted, his voice shaking. Stay tuned for the next episode to find out the fate of Mr. Francis. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me. God bless you abundantly. Bye bye.